Step into the whimsical village of Portmeirion, nestled against the breathtaking Welsh coast. Imagine the vibrancy of the Italian Riviera blended with the rugged charm of rural Wales. This is Portmeirion. A colourful masterpiece of architectural styles, it was the inspired vision of Clough Williams-Ellis and today stands as one of Wales' most cherished treasures. Join us for a tour around this magical place. Portmeirion lies tucked away and almost hidden in the west of North Wales on the beautiful Gloriette Estuary, a few miles from the large town of Porthmadog. The gorgeous Snowdonia National Park is just on its doorstep. The moment you step into this village, a sense of wonder washes over you. It's unlike anywhere else in Wales, or indeed the whole United Kingdom. Bertram Clough Williams-Ellis was born in Northamptonshire in 1883, but moved back to his family roots in Wales at an early age. He became a visionary architect and passionate environmentalist, a fierce protector of rural landscapes, founding key conservation organisations and playing a pivotal role in establishing national parks in England and Wales. His colourful, eccentric architectural style left a lasting mark, taking 50 years of dedication to complete. It was a wet start to the visit. Passing under the gatehouse, take a left down some steps to the Grotto. It's easily missed, but has some wonderful views of the estuary. From the sea, it apparently looks like a defensive bunker. Below is the local shell-inlaid grotto. Clough believed that development didn't have to destroy beautiful landscapes. He wanted to demonstrate how to build within a naturally stunning setting whilst enhancing its existing beauty. He held these views long before he found the money and the location to fulfill his vision. In 1925, having spent several years searching for an ideal place for his village concept, he heard about the sale of this neglected estate and mansion owned by Mrs. Adelaide Haigh. The setting was perfect, and he didn't hesitate to make an offer to buy the land and dilapidated mansion for £4,000. The Grand Hotel before us was that mansion, built in 1850. Clough breathed new life into it, transforming it into an unlicensed hotel in 1926. Even today you can experience its history and spend a night within its walls. As we walk downhill towards the arched bridge house, you can see some examples of how he used the rocky landscape to his advantage, deciding on the locations of his buildings and merging the two in harmony. He had drawings and models made to help envisage how the completed village would look. Portmeirion was built in two stages from 1925 to 39 for many of the prominent buildings, and then after the war from 1954 to 76, filling in the gaps, so to speak. It wasn't a strict architectural blueprint, but a broad concept that he let evolve organically, adapting to the landscape and his ever-flowing inspiration. We are now in Battery Square, a tiny pebbled piazza with small shops around it. The Battery is a white weatherboard building of distinctive Kentish-style design. It was one of the first buildings erected after the hotel in 1926 and is said to offer stunning estuary views from the other side. The Toll House, a quirky multi-storied building of arts and craft character, with a lookout tower adorned by an oak statue of St. Peter. This building was the original village toll house, with a gatekeeper to take the toll to enter. The sheep sign was designed by Clough's daughter Susan when he asked her to create it for the Welsh wool shop. Below the sign is a bust of actor Patrick McGoohan. The cult classic TV show The Prisoner was filmed in Portmeirion. A former secret agent, McGoohan, known only as Number 6, was abruptly kidnapped and imprisoned in a mysterious coastal village. A place of constant surveillance and psychological manipulation, Number 6 fiercely resists attempts to break his spirit and uncover the secrets of his resignation, while also plotting to escape from the bizarre prison that holds him. One of the shops in Battery Square is now the Prisoner Shop, where you can pick up souvenirs and trinkets depicting the show. Clough was a proponent of reusing architectural elements. He was gifted and incorporated many pieces from demolished buildings, joyfully calling Portmeirion a home for the fallen buildings. The bell tower is a great example of this, built in 1928 and inspired by a campanile in Portofino. Some of the stone used came from the base of the 12th century Castile de Draith a mile away. The chiming clock within the tower came from elsewhere, a demolished London brewery. Portmeirion was designed as a visual feast, and from this height in front of the dome, we catch our first glimpse of the central piazza and the wonderful vistas Clough created. You may be wondering if the buildings are just for display. Well, in many cases they are in full use, either as shops, cafes or eateries. Some are used for accommodation. There are 32 serviced suites, individually decorated and featuring views of the picturesque piazza and spectacular seascapes. 16 cottages are for self-catering holidays with full access to all the facilities of the hotels. The best bit is that entry is included in your booking, and when all the visitors have gone, you can enjoy the grounds almost all to yourself and experience the cosy night lighting, giving a whole new perspective. Designed to be the village centrepiece, the piazza embodies the Italianate, almost theatrical vision. Colourful buildings with unique architectural details, balconies and archways ring the piazza. It's a place for visitors to relax and admire the view and absorb the unique atmosphere of Portmeirion. The Bristol Colonnade was originally part of a grand Georgian-era bathhouse, designed by James Bridges and built around 1760. It adorned the building's facade. Sadly, the bathhouse fell into disrepair. Clough recognised the architectural value of the colonnade and had it carefully dismantled for transport. Each stone was meticulously numbered, transported and reassembled in Portmeirion. Another stunning example of his dedication to preserving architectural treasures. The colonnade represents a classic Palladian architectural style, characterised by its symmetry, harmonious proportions and use of columns. It is primarily composed of bath stone, giving it a characteristically warm, honey-coloured appearance. The intentional state of partial decay, called pleasing decay, reflects Clough's belief in the beauty of ageing structures. The giant chessboard was added as a direct reference to the TV classic The Prisoner. In the show, scenes of human chess games with costume pieces took place in the piazza. When it was first installed, some residents objected, believing it was out of character for the historic village, but its popularity with the tourists meant it stayed. The Gothic Pavilion has a unique past. It was originally part of Nurquis Hall, a historic building in Flintshire, but was not considered aesthetically pleasing by its owner. Learning of its potential demolition, Clough arranged to have it relocated here in 1965. Clearly embodying the Gothic revival style with its elegant pinnacles and decorative stonework, the building features a whimsical pink colour scheme in true Portmeirion style. The arches offer beautiful, almost theatrical framed views of the piazza and other village scenery. The piazza was built in 1965 and replaced a tennis court which had been here since the 1930s. Clough had plans for it since the beginning, but didn't get round to finalising it until his daughter and husband encouraged him to move the unsightly court. Ahead of us is the Gloriette, but we'll come to that shortly, as first we'll walk beside the piazza on an elevation above the colonnade. The Gloriette is more of a distinctive facade than a fully functioning building. Its primary purpose is to create an aesthetic statement. The structure features 5 trompe-l'oeil windows that create an illusion of greater depth and grandeur. Along with the central fountain, the Gloriette acts as a centrepiece for the piazza, adding a sense of both elegance and charm. As we look out at the other buildings, it's interesting to note that most are about 2/3 the size of the buildings they were modelled on. The 4 grand Ionic columns came from Houghton Hall in Cheshire. This 15th century building was demolished, and intricate mermaid and fish balcony railings were salvaged from a demolished sailor's house in Liverpool. Behind the Gloriette is the building called Salutation, one of only 4 that predates the creation of the village. Built in 1850, it was originally designed as a lodge and stable block at Abelard, the estate's name before Portmeirion. Used as a cafe, it houses the ship shop, showcasing the Portmeirion Pottery established by his daughter Susan and husband Ewan. Perhaps the most famous range, introduced in 1972, Botanic Garden, features the iconic laurel leaf border with a range of beautiful flowers. You can see all the latest designs inside the shop. In this area, we can climb up to the gazebo for fantastic views over the village. It is quite steep and a little bit slippery when wet, but it's well worth the climb. The extensive 70-acre woodlands around the village are a haven of natural beauty. The pathways take you through dense forests, hidden clearings and along picturesque coastal coves. We won't be walking any of them today, but on a previous visit we did see a cove and the lovely secluded gardens like the Japanese garden with its pagoda and lily pond. So do make some time to explore outside of the village centre. Using 6 of the 30 mermaid panels Clough purchased in 1954 from the Liverpool Sailors' House, his daughter Susan designed this gazebo to mark the centenary of her father's birth. The views from this vantage point are just wonderful. The woods contain a remarkable collection of exotic trees and plants, many planted by Clough and past owners, giant redwoods from California, and Chilean southern beech, to name but a few. The bell tower is chiming as it does several times a day. The triumphal arch was added in 1962 as a new route for delivery lorries to get into the village with goods for the shop. Mermaid Cottage enjoys a prominent location right in the heart of the village, nestled amongst the other colourful buildings. It exudes a classic cottage aesthetic with its whitewashed walls, arched doorways and traditional windows. There is an upper and lower suite if you fancy staying here. Built in the 1840s, it was another of the 4 buildings on the original estate. It was used as a gardener's bothy, and by the time Clough arrived, the whole area was like a wilderness. The cottage was dilapidated. Neptune and Trinity stand side by side. Neptune was one of his first cottages in 1926. Where it came from is unknown. On the other side were garages which are now shops, and we'll see those later. Trinity was built in 1933 and so called just because Clough had acquired the coat of arms of Trinity House at the same time. The busts of the Duke and Duchess of Argyll are placed below for no particular reason. Walking behind Trinity and Neptune, we find the location of the majority of the shops in the village. There are lots of different things to browse and buy during your visit. To our left stands the charming Angel, built in 1926 around the same time as Neptune, which it gracefully connects to. On our right, the majestic Town Hall begins to reveal itself, likely Clough's most ambitious architectural project. But before we delve into that, let's admire the striking statue of Hercules. Acquired in 1960, it was created by William Brodie, a renowned Scottish sculptor, and cast in around 1863. Clough had a deep admiration for Brodie's work and found the statue in Aberdeen, and with great effort had it transported to the village. The town hall, also called Hercules Hall, was built to house a Jacobean ceiling acquired in the 1930s. along with mullioned windows and panelling. Clough read about the demolition of Emerald Hall in Flintshire and headed off to the auction to buy the pieces. Fronting the hall is a beautiful set of gates which may have come from the same place, I wasn't able to be sure. Now used for private function rooms, there appears to be no way to see the wonderful ceiling unless you're at an event. I do hope we didn't miss it by accident. At the foot of the hall stairs is a bust of Clough when he was 80, a gift from Jonah Jones, a dear friend who would go on to write a biography about him. Now let's walk down to the estuary and see the quayside. As we walk down the hill on the left, we can catch a glimpse of the hotel's heated pool, added in the 1970s. We also see the salmon-coloured entrance to Anchor and the roof of Fountain. We almost missed these because we were concentrating on the estuary. It was here that Noel Coward wrote the comic play Blithe Spirit while staying in the Fountain Suites in 1941. We've reached the original estate mansion, then called Abelard. Clough turned it into the hotel and extended it in 1926 and 30. The likes of Coward, H.G. Wells, George Bernard Shaw have graced these rooms. A fire in 1981 gutted the hotel. Years of reconstruction have returned it to its former glory. From memory, a sign said hotel guests only, so we didn't try to look inside. The quay is a beautiful place to view the estuary, although it was turning grey again and looking like more rain. You'll notice a stone boat on the quay. There were children playing on it, so it didn't get the best coverage. Clough purchased a Portmeirion ketch in 1926 and moored it here on the quay. It was called the Amis Reunis, or Friends Reunited, and here it sat for many years until, during some maintenance work, a storm dragged its anchors and away it went down the estuary. He managed to salvage some of it, but had to settle for a stone replacement in homage to the original Amis Reunis. Continuing our lovely walk along the quay, we are heading to the Observatory Tower, a distinctive 4-storey building located at the southern end of Portmeirion, close to the Glasswyn River. If you watched last week's video all about the beautiful village of Bethgelert, then you will have seen the river flowing right through the centre of town, making its way down here and to the sea. Bethgelert is a charming village and only 20 minutes drive from Portmeirion, so check out that video if you missed it, it's well worth a visit. Clough designed the tower in 1935 and built it the following year. Initially, some thought it looked a bit like a lighthouse, but it is a lookout tower. The top level originally housed a camera obscura, which was able to project an image of the estuary on a white table, much to his delight. Standing proud at its entrance is a bright, colourful statue of Nelson, given to him by a distant relative. You can climb up the tower and enjoy the views. The coastal path continues beyond the tower and we pass the last of the 4 early estate buildings. This was once a fisherman's cottage. White Horses is 18th century and named after the waves that come in during spring tides. Clough used it as a workshop at one time, but in 1966 extended it and made it accommodation. In fact, Patrick McGowan was one of the first to stay during filming of The Prisoner. If we continue on, we reach the southerlymost point and a lighthouse folly that Clough built of sheet metal in 1953. But this is as far as we'll come with our walk on this path today. It's worth noting you can walk on the sand, but do make sure you know when the tide is due to change, as it can be dangerous. Clough was made a Knight Bachelor in 1972 and became Sir Clough Williams-Ellis in recognition for his services to the preservation of the environment and to architecture. Directly behind the Gothic Pavilion is a lion presented to him on his 90th birthday, a gift from his friends. He died peacefully on the 9th of April 1978 at the age of 94 at his home Place Brondano. His creation of Portmeirion showcases a unique blend of Italianate architecture and playful design, transforming it into a beloved and iconic Welsh landmark. His legacy is one of preserving the beauty of Wales, fostering architectural innovation and promoting a harmonious relationship between the built environment and the natural world. It's been an incredibly interesting visit, and we hope you come and enjoy it too. Let's look ahead to what's on next time in beautiful Wales. Disappear into the swirling clouds as we ascend Mount Snowdon, a journey aboard a historic 127-year-old steam train. This majestic Welsh peak hides some of its beauty today, but the echoes of the past and history of its epic construction remain. Join us for a hauntingly beautiful ride on the Snowdon Mountain Railway. Do subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of our Welsh travel adventures, and thank you for watching. See you again soon.